Hello YouTube, it's Ryan here with Hobbies of a Man once again, and today we are doing another reading check-in for the month of March. This is the third one of these that we do this month, or this year, I think. Well, it's technically the fourth one. And today we're just going to do an update on my TBR. It's going to be like a middle of the month reading log. I don't really have anything else to talk about that's like all that important, so we're just going to jump into it. I've actually been doing really good with my TBR this month. I actually thought I wasn't going to be able to finish most of this because last week, which was the second week of March, it was basically Hell Week, right? Which is all of the... I had a bunch of tests for my university degree. And yeah, it was rough, but I had managed to read a little bit here and there, and late at night I was just like, fuck it, I'm not going to study anymore. I want to read. And so I would read a manga or two and then get back to studying so I could take my test. So actually I did manage to read a lot more than I thought. And so I would say I read like half of this the first week and then like the other half this past week. And right now I'm in spring break and I've been taking a little bit of time to kind of relax and not really focus on reading, mostly just watching anime. I've been rewatching Fairy Tail so that I can finally finish it, because I think I never actually finished the series. I don't remember when I left off, but I definitely did not watch the last season. So I've been doing that, and now I'm gonna actually start focusing on reading and working on the channel a little bit. I haven't been very good about it this month, but yeah, so let's just jump into the video. The TBR has been going good. I basically have finished everything that I mentioned in my TBR except for Juni Taisen, which is this one. I'm like, what is it? Let's see, 60 pages in, which is about a third of, a fourth of the way through. So I should be able to finish this pretty fast, either today or tomorrow. And then I haven't even started on Lord of Goblins over there, but I should do that soon. Because I need to get a review out for it. And the other thing that I haven't finished is Bright Blade by Jess Kajio. I started it. I was like 20% in, and then I just haven't found the time to get back to it. I don't know. I haven't been disinterested in it, but reading it is a little like tough because it's still in that exposition phase and I haven't been able to power through it yet. So I'm kind of like not super interested in getting into it at any given point, right? But I'll power through it soon, and then I'll get through it, and I'll probably end up enjoying it quite a lot. So that's stuff. That's good stuff there. Basically everything else on my TBR that you guys can see up there. Sorry, like that was weird. Yeah, everything else on my TBR has basically been finished. So yeah, let's just talk about it. So Sleepy Princess, Volume 1. This was a fun, very relaxing read. It's similar to Komi, similar to Tis Time for Torture Princess, which you can read on Manga Plus. Similar to Dragon Maid, almost. Like, there's a lot of stuff that this is similar to. It's a fantasy-oriented slice of life. It's basically about this girl, this princess that's trapped in the demon castle because she's a hostage. And she decides that, okay, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to make do and find the best way to, sleep. And so she basically goes on these like little short single chapter adventures to find different materials she needs. And she ends up basically terrorizing all of these monsters because she's like, well, I'm just going to use these body parts that they have in order to create my, perfect bed. And it's a really funny story. I don't know if it can really go on that long, but I know that there's at least 12 volumes of this. So I don't know. I definitely want to pick up more of it, but it's not like a super priority. It's like very cute and very fun, but like I wouldn't really think that it's something I want to collect too much of, if that makes sense. But yeah, overall it was a fun read. And then Komi Can't Communicate 11. Dude, I read this so fast. And Komi is just wonderful. I really love this chapter. It really focused on the romance aspects. It had Komi and Tadano kind of hanging out together and having these little moments that are like not really romantic, but to them it's like, oh my god, this is like I'm touching a girl. or in Komi's case, I'm touching a boy. What the hell, which was really good. It was really fun, and I really did enjoy the fact that this chapter also focused a lot on Komi's younger brother and Tadano's younger sister, and they even had their own little thing going on, which was really fun. I really did enjoy it. But yeah, this was a really refreshing read. I have been missing Komi quite a bit, and I'm really happy that I got back into it. Good stuff there as well. Next, Fire Force. Man, this is really, really good. What is it? It's basically a very basic, like, exorcism shonen, kind of like most of them, and especially very similar to the previous work that this guy did, which is Soul Eater. However, this turns into more of a, like, martial arts thing with a lot of fire magic, which is really cool. Basically, everyone's like Natsu to an extent, and it's very interesting because the main character looks and also kind of acts a little bit like a villain, but is very, like, interested in being helpful and learning and teaching and, like, what's it called? Not really teaching, but like learning what happened to his family and why he is this way. And it's a very interesting kind of, like, this guy is odd, but he's still a hero in a sense. So it's very interesting. I did really enjoy it. I like the art a lot. The mangaka has really evolved since the time that he wrote Soul Eater. And the one thing I didn't like was that the two main female characters look and have very similar names. It's like Maki is one of them, and the other one is Tamaki, I think is her name. So in my head, I was like, oh my god, why? Like, why would you name the two different female characters out of the three that you have very similar names? But I don't really know if it's going to be all that difficult to tell them apart. It's just kind of like, why? Why would you do that? But overall, enjoyed it. It was pretty good. Next, I read Olympus. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about this one. Like, it's a very, like, pretty looking manga, and the story is interesting enough, but it feels very, like, and I don't want to say pretentious because that's not the right word, but it feels like fake deep, if that makes sense. Or, like, it's deep if you're, like, 14, if that makes sense. I think that's a subreddit. So it's like this whole kind of thing about, what do you do if you're immortal? And you have this power and knowledge and everything that you speak is true. How do you exist? Why do you exist? And these characters are trying to basically find that answer. And there isn't really one, but it gets you thinking about what these people are going through and how they could deal with it and how you would deal with it, right? And in that sense, it is kind of deep, but it's also like, why does it matter? Like, why do I need to think this? And these characters are actually not good people, and I wouldn't really want to help them figure this issue out. I don't know. It's like, it felt like it was trying to get you to think, but it didn't give you a starting point to think from, if that makes sense. Like, usually these type, like, stories of this sort kind of tell you something, right? And they're trying to provide a ground from which you can create your own ideology or, like, approach to this. But it didn't really feel like it actually ever went there. Like, it never actually finished setting it up. And what the story was at the beginning is quite a bit different from what it is at the end. So I don't know. I didn't really have a super great opinion about this. Like, I liked it and it was fun and I'll keep it, but it wasn't like as cool and as interesting as I thought it was going to be. So that's kind of my general thoughts on it right now. I think that would be a better one if you read it more than once. So there you go. Next is Eden Zero. Now, holy crap, dude. I love Eden Zero so much. And I love this cover because Best Girl is on it, which, and we got some really cool stuff with her this volume. And I, like, in general, dude, Eden Zero is just so good. I really love it so much. It's just like everything that was good about Fairy Tail, with a darker premise, with a more serious approach, with a lot of the same stuff that, Hiro Mashima is well known for. But, like, it's just elevated, and I really like it so much. This is, like, the proper getting into of the next arc, which is the Belial Gore arc. And it's looking to be very cool. So, that's it for that, I guess. I mean, I don't really have that much to say about it right now because I don't want to spoil too much of it, right? And I'm just, like, still processing it because it's just so fun. But, yeah, really good stuff. Next, Dragon Maid. I read volumes 1, 2, and 3, and there was nothing really new here that I hadn't already seen in the anime. So this was just kind of like a relaxing, easy read. But I did actually quite like the fact that it was a little bit more serious in the anime, I guess. It had a little bit more serious tone. And it wasn't as what's it called? I don't know. I think the anime focused a little bit too much on providing the fan service aspects, which this one does still. In fact, I think some of the fan service with Kana was actually worse here than in the anime, which I did not really like, but it's not really that serious, and it's not very often that it happens anyways. But it's just such a fun, relaxing read. It's like, it's not like very funny or very like, oh my god, that's so wacky, what the hell. It's just kind of like relaxing, and it's all about finding family, which is a trope and an idea that I really do enjoy a lot. So I'm really happy with it, and I can't wait for more. So yeah, not really much to say about Kobayashi either. Well, I have a lot to say about these, but I don't want to do that because then I don't want to have to record and then edit a 30-minute video, you guys know. So yeah, that's it for that. The next one is Solo Leveling, and this one is very, very interesting. I didn't really know what to expect about a Korean light novel. I thought it was going to be very similar to a Japanese novel, but it's actually not. It's somewhere in between the more serious Japanese light novels and like a more like dark fantasy Western novel or something along the pulp fantasy, pulp fiction type of novels that are like available in the US, I guess. It's very gory. It's very interesting. There's not that many strong characters. Like, we basically only follow Jinwoo Sung, I think is his name. Yeah, Jinwoo Sung, not Zung. It's with an S, not a Z. As he kind of levels up, basically. That's all he does. But we have a few other secondary characters, and although they're not very like well developed, there's something about them that's just like charming, and you just want to know more about them and figure out why they do things. But you know, you are mostly focusing on Jinwoo, and the whole time you're just like really invested in his story for some reason, even though it's not very like you know, amazing. Like, he's basically just leveling. He's grinding this whole book, and yet it's written in such a way that is so like enjoyable, and you just want to keep reading and reading. And it was a very interesting idea for me to kind of go with that. I think a lot of people will probably like this better in a manga format, just because the visuals will help you kind of move through the story a lot quicker if you're not someone that has that much patience or that is not interested in reading a bunch of grinding. So, you know, there's that. But it was very compelling, and I really like that. And I'm just really excited about this, and I hope we get a lot more Korean light novels coming soon, because basically, like, 10 different people have commented on my top 10 light novels of 2020, and they've all recommended Korean light novels to me, and I want to read them, but I also don't want to read them online, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to read them on a website, because I've tried before, and a lot of them are, like, not badly written, but, like, badly translated, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't roll off the tongue well. It's not enjoyable to read. So I haven't really liked that, because there's so many more things that I can read that are published traditionally, or like that are published not online, that, you know, I could read instead and not have to worry about having to like engage my brain to rearrange words in order to read it properly, you know? So yeah, but I really hope that we get more. I think there's a few other ones that are interesting. There's another one by this guy that is called like Overgeared or something like that, and I want to see if that one gets an English adaptation. There's also like Tower of God, I think, was also a light novel. And there's a few other ones that I was interested in, but yeah, really good stuff. I do recommend it. Obviously, the manga is also, or the manhwa, sorry, is also available, so you can pick that up instead if you want to read it in that way. But I definitely recommend the light novel. And that's it. That's all I've been reading. That's my general thoughts on the book and or on the books I've been reading. And hopefully, I get to read a few more. I'm still working on Bright Blade, like I said earlier. I have to read Lord of Goblins and finish Juni Taisen. But beyond that, I'll probably work through Gardens of the Moon and Dragon Reborn. And I'll finally get to Blue Flag. And probably going to read Cutie Honey Go Go as well. So, yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later.